Hello and welcome to the Tough Cut Podcast. Obviously, this is not how our episodes normally start. They normally do the and that's coming, don't worry. But I wanted to make a quick programming announcement. This week, we were not able to record a new episode, so we've got a pre-recorded bonus episode coming for you. I got married this weekend, and Jake and Matt were there, so yeah, I didn't have time to make a new one. But we did have designated survivors, so, if we were brutally murdered, someone would pick up the mantle and keep recording for us. But that didn't happen. The murderers were caught, and everything should continue according to schedule, which means that next week, we've got our cooking bracket, food bracket, hungry bracket coming at you with two matchups, Ratatouille versus The 100-Foot Journey and Chef versus Big Night. So it's going to be a good one. We look forward to giving you that next week. But for now, here you go. Special little bonus episode. Some things might be a little outdated.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Oh, Alex,
Jake
you're
is back.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, no. Hey, guys.
Well, this is going to be really weird if we release this later.
Nah.
Okay, we'll record an alternate version. Hey, guys, we've all been here this whole time, and there was nothing weird going on. This episode wasn't recorded in advance.
This episode was recorded in front of a live studio audience, though.
It's a really small audience.
Yeah, but they're really big
me.
people.
I'm not part of the recording. I'm just listening and watching today.
Well, hello and welcome back.
Woo!
We're the Tough Cut Podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Settle it down out there. Settle it down. I'm Matthew.
Woo! I'm Alex. I'm your audience member with you today. I'm just like you, an audience member, but I'm live.
And I'm different. I'm Jake. Won't explain why.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
And today we have a little bonus episode for you.
A bonus episode? Wow.
Yeah. Get
That's
that
so
guy. Get that
exciting.
guy out of the audience. Get him. Fucking get him. Security, pull him out. I have nothing to shit. Fucking get him out.
What? No.
Oh. Anyway.
Well, now that that's dealt with, we have another bonus episode for you. A long famed and favorite series of many.
This one was heavily requested by you guys. Like, so many people reached out and said, wow, we have to do this right now.
There's nothing you guys have wanted more than this. And
it's crazy how much people have just been like, hey, have you guys done this yet? You have to do it. I've named my son after you guys.
There's so much demand.
Yeah.
We've gotten Twitter DMs about this at Tough Cut Pod, Instagram DMs at Tough Cut Pod, emails, toughcutpod@gmail.com. Right. People have gone to our website and filled in the message box.
Right.
People have been commenting on all of our TikToks, being like, hey, are you guys going to do Toy Story?
Oh, he revealed
did I spoil
it.
Had you not said it? Well, I'll cut that out.
Yet.
People have been going on our TikToks asking for this.
Look, I went to go get a tattoo.
Messaging us on Letterboxd.
I went to go get a tattoo, and instead of giving the tattoo I wanted, they literally carved into my skin. Big reveal time. Will you guys do the Toy Story movies?
And we said, sure.
And I said, what the fuck are you doing? My skin is bleeding. Oh, God, this is not what I wanted. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so as you guys know, we are the second most prestigious show in film.
Right.
And people have been wondering, how do we rank the Toy Story movies? So we're going to do a bracket, a little baby bracket with
Speed
4 movies.
Bracket. Speed baby bracket.
It's going to be really embarrassing if they announce a 5th Toy Story movie.
Which I'm sure will happen. We also are ignoring all of the holiday specials.
It won't happen unless the Muppets predict it, because fun fact, in Muppets Most Wanted, they said, we're making a sequel, and that was the opening number, and they're like, we're not going to make it until they announce, we're not going to make a third until they announce Toy Story 4, whatever line it was. But they were like, we're not doing this until they announce Toy Story 4. And then they announced it like a year after. Wow. So.
And what did they announce? Oh,
that's wild.
The fourth movie.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I never saw Muppets Most Wanted.
Okay, fucking. Sorry, I got a flash of red. I'm sorry, audience.
we haven't yet been hit with request on request on request for a Muppet bracket or puppet bracket of which Muppets could be included.
You know that's my dream, but also that would break my heart because every movie deserves to be in the finale.
Yeah, how would you choose?
Except for Happy Time Murders. Fuck Happy Time Murders. Burn it with fire.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
What a shame. It had so much potential.
Do you want to get into this?
Yeah, let's do it. Toy Story movies. So our first matchup, we've got Toy Story 4 versus Toy Story 3. Who wants to go first?
And I love how we're going backwards. We said, fuck it, y'all.
Yeah, it's called recency bias. Look it up.
Oh, wait, come on, real quick. Yeah.
That's how Jake's keyboard sounds. Cool. I guess I can start.
Yeah, man, go
by
ahead.
Pulling my name out of the proverbial hat. Recency bias. So I guess we'll start with Toy Story 4, just giving a little summary. Oh, also, we're going to spoil these movies.
Oh, hardcore.
Yeah. Spoiler for the Toy Story movies,
so just
and probably other movies too. I'm sure it will happen.
He finds his dad in Kung Fu Panda.
Damn.
Hey, we told them we would. I need them to know we're serious. I'm tired of the games. But please, Matthew, introduce this movie.
So, Toy Story 4, released in 2019, directed by Josh Cooley.
Yes, Josh Cooley.
Woody, having always been the favorite toy, and being so confident and happy in that position, begins to have his world thrown upside down when Bonnie has started to shelf him in favor of others. And when Bonnie adds a reluctant toy called Forky to her mix, and a road trip is thrown into it, this has gone really fucking poorly all of a sudden.
No.
Okay.
I don't know a time we've been bad at synopses for movies, so I think you're
you're doing great. You're doing fantastic.
When did this one come out?
Cool. Okay. 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, Woody, coming to grips with his whole position, wants Forky to recognize how valuable it is to be a toy and to be a favorite toy at that. And on this road trip, things are really thrown upside down when Forky jumps out the window, Woody falling after him, enter into a whole zany adventure of abandoned toys and what life is like for a toy without a kid. And Woody's reunited with an old flame.
Ooh. Yeah, he finds his long lost lover. I was waiting for that part because honestly, that's the best part of the movie.
Well, I don't know.
Arguably,
you leave out all of the stuff about Forky being an eldritch abomination that just like despises existence as a whole, which is really incredible in a kid's movie about toys.
There's this really interesting, narrative going on in the background of this world where not every inanimate object comes to life. So by the nature of imbuing the will of this is a toy onto this fork with googly eyes, it becomes alive and it hates the fact that it is alive.
God, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, it's because this came out 10 years after the original trilogy ended, and all the people that watched it before are grown up and they're at a point in time where they hate their life too. Anyway, so Toy Story 3, it's going up again against Toy Story 3. Came out in 2010, directed by Lee Unkrich. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry to you, Lee. All you need to know is that Randy Newman did come back to do the music. Is everything okay?
What the fuck was that?
Everything all right over there?
Yeah, I dropped my toy.
Anyway,
okay.
Nice. all that matters is that this was the original ending of a monster trilogy. It made $1 billion. It had a budget of like 2 million. Like, it was a monster. And it's basically about, Andy's going to college. And so Woody and Buzz, the rest of the toys, they have to find themselves a new home, because they almost get put in the attic, but they wind up on a curb in the trash, and they end up at a daycare center. But the kids at the daycare center just use these toys as a metaphor for capitalism. And yeah. And, they make plans to escape because the toys there's like a tier system. It's crazy, guys. This movie is like, it's wild.
It gets political.
Yeah. And made $1 billion.
I love toys that talk about fascism.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That and Small Soldiers. That's it.
Small Soldiers is fucking rad. Can we add that to this bracket?
Yeah, sure. But it's already in the finale, so we can just,
Cool. Don't worry, audience. We'll talk about Small Soldiers at a future point.
That's actually, we have a rule here at the Tough Cut that each of us get a one taboo movie, and that's my taboo movie. Small Soldiers. It can never be on the Tough Cut. It could never. I'm willing to talk about Avatar, which I already have on the Tough Cut, more than Small. Just kidding. I love Small Soldiers. Go watch that movie.
Also, I want to throw something out there. Jake keeps talking up how Toy Story 3 made $1 billion. Toy Story 4 also made $1 billion, Jake. Okay, wow. So
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but what was its budget?
I don't know, man. I'll check.
I'm sure they were both huge. Same budget.
$200 million.
Mine was also $200 million.
That's
They're basically the same movie.
That's
Toy
crazy.
Story 3 made less domestically, but more internationally.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 made more domestically and less internationally.
That actually makes sense to me because, like, I don't know, America got really into like sequel, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we need Toy Story 4. And then everyone else is probably like, no, we don't.
This is a complete trilogy, baby.
It really, I mean, that's my biggest argument going forward here is that there was no need for 4. 4 is gorgeous. 4 like looked really good. Like, it was insane. Like, if you zoomed up on the stitching and like it was great. However, like, the story was just like, I was so content with 3 and like the college ending or whatever. I just didn't need to revisit and have an existential crisis where my fork can come alive and I also want to die. You know what I mean?
So
I feel like Toy Story 3 tied up the narrative of like beginnings, endings. Like, it could have been the perfect ending because we see Andy go to college. We, as like watching these movies as children, then seeing like suddenly Toy Story 3 comes out and Andy is basically an adult. For us, I think it's very cathartic to see that because we think of our own toys and like the journeys that we had growing up. The reason I think Toy Story 4 is necessary is because Toy Story 3 doesn't give necessarily the same kind of ending to the toys who are the main characters that it gives for Andy. Like, Andy gets that ending, but Woody and Buzz, like, sure, they get like culminations of their stories and they get to like go on and continue being toys. But I feel like Toy Story 4 gives an ending for Woody. Spoilers for Toy Story 4. Woody decides to... Well, no, Buzz has his own journey, like becoming the leader, doing all that stuff, like reconciling with, like he's been partners with Woody the whole time. But like Woody gets the ending of like, he decides to leave no longer being a kid's toy and just be a toy, which is a whole different thing.
Be a nomad.
He's a cowboy.
Nomad man.
And a steel horse I ride, and I want it.
Hell yeah.
As a toy.
I honestly, though, talking about the ending of Toy Story 4 and how Woody gets this ending, it actually was ruined to me when I first saw it in theaters because Woody is like, all right, Buzz, you need to go back to Bonnie. You guys have to go, like, she needs her toys. You guys go be there for her. And I'm going to be done. Basically is the gist of what he says, something like that. And this little girl, bless her soul, sitting in the row behind me, goes, "Who's Bonnie?" And Bonnie, of course, is the new Andy, the human girl who they are the toys of. Completely undercutting all of the emotional weight and resonance that this moment has. And it's just absolutely hysterical to me. What do you guys think about that moment?
I mean,
in the movie or the real life little girl that interrupted your experience?
I was gonna say, we can find that little girl and give her a stern talking to if you want.
About talking during the movies?
No, about her like film opinion and nuance. Because I really think what she's trying to say is that like I don't think Bonnie was
Bonnie.
Yeah, we didn't.
She's not
in this
characterized
movie,
well enough.
She's not characterized, and she's like They could do a badass woman. They've shown it with the fucking what's the Barbie girl's name? Jessie.
Oh,
not
Barbie.
Jessie.
Barbie.
Bo Peep.
Bo Peep. There we go. Bo Peep.
That's what he was asking for.
Well, Bo Peep is
Woody's
Bo
old
Peep. It's
flame.
not Barbie. Barbie is
yeah,
Barbie.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. I apologize profusely. But here's the thing.
Thank you.
Who is Bonnie? And we don't know. And she she barely even gets lines besides crying. And she's a damsel in distress. I don't know. That would rub me the wrong way if I was a little girl in the audience as well.
I think so. Who is Bonnie is kind of a question that should echo through the fourth film, but it should also pose a question to the third of why does Andy give his toys to Bonnie?
Yeah,
he knows nothing about her.
Why is Bonnie?
You know? Why Bonnie?
Why is Bonnie?
And I don't think either movies answer those questions.
Honestly,
I'm hoping if they make a Toy Story 5. I hope if they make a Toy Story 5, they ask the question, where is Bonnie? And the toys have to find Bonnie after Bonnie goes missing.
It's like a Liam Neeson Taken situation. They should make it like a Muppet situation where it's just actually live action Liam Neeson in the world, but it's animated all around. He just has to work with
Liam Neeson
toys.
plays like a G.I. Joe character. It's just his face on a G.I. Joe body, like doing the military like toy walk.
I feel like you guys, though, like, I don't know, maybe the whole reason why Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 3 aren't like succeeding and all that stuff is that no one ever asked, how is Bonnie? You know?
I tried.
Well, yeah, but you had a knife on you.
In the fourth movie, we see how Bonnie is. She's sad. Bonnie's sad. Because Forky gone.
Bonnie new to school.
And Bonnie new to school, which make Bonnie sad.
Bonnie also committed arson once, but anyway, moving forward, yeah, I don't know. I feel like with the ending of like Toy Story 4 and all stuff, if anything, the only way I can like respect Toy Story 4 for it being created is the meta reading that I have of like, I didn't need this sequel. It's kind of disappointing, and like that was like life for us 10 years later. It was like, shit, that was disappointing. But that's a depressing way to look at it. And I'd rather just be like, oh, Toy Story 3 made me cry at the end. That's really beautiful.
That's true. It did do that.
So I think Alex made a really good point with Toy Story 4 kind of being the culmination to Woody's story, that there's this important question of we spend so much time with the toys over 4 movies, and yet the kind of background narrative is always centered around the children. So it does pose this important question of like, what is life for these beings beyond their kids? Because they, I guess it's by nature of children existing that they breathe life into these,
live to
inanimate
serve.
objects.
It's really fucked.
And it poses, I think Toy Story 4 poses some really interesting questions about the world Toy Story takes place in.
Right.
Yeah, it forces the audience to reckon with the world that they have created and established, being like, hey, maybe these movies are kind of fucked up. What do you think about that?
But it feels shallow because they still give like Forky like a spin-off TV series and like keep it like if they really cared about their message, they would kill him.
They would have Woody picks up a pebble from the side of the street and bashes Forky's head.
No, that
they
would
have
actually
some
be
tourist pick Forky up and like use it off the ground to like eat some cheese fries at the carnival.
Ew.
And Forky's like, oh, the sweet release.
Finally used for his intended purpose. begs Woody to put an end to him. He's seen his life through to its completion.
Look, Toy Story 4 just forces too many things. It forces us, being like back. It forces fucking Bonnie and her arsonist agenda. It forces, Key and Peele coming back together. They didn't want to be back together, but they were.
Is that true?
Yeah, Key and Peele are in the movie as
But, well, I know that, but do they not like each other anymore? I'm confused.
No. They like each other, but they're done with Key and Peele. You know what I mean?
Well, they weren't. They were
doing
toys
Key
here.
and Peele. They were doing Toy Story.
Wait, did you not watch the extended cut of this movie? They literally did a whole
a series of sketches.
But I wanted what I got it. Yeah, it was a whole.
So stupid. So I think that I agree a little bit that some of these ideas explored in Toy Story 4 aren't necessarily as nuanced and deep as they could be. I do think I think Toy Story 3 ends the trilogy in a really good way, and Toy Story 4 has interesting things to bring, but I'm not sure how to articulate this.
Unless they do another trilogy with this recent one, I just feel like it undercuts the series as a whole. Because generally, Toy Story 4 is a good movie. It is. But because of the history of the other three and the way the third ended,
I think that's some of what I grapple with is the first three. It's like a very neatly tied bow for the trilogy. And the fourth one comes in and I think provides important stuff to the world, important stuff for Woody as a character, as Alex said. But I agree. I think it undercuts what was meant to be kind of the emotional departure that was the third movie. Yeah. I think the desire to make a second $1 billion was what they were truly interested in, not giving Woody a proper end.
Yeah.
That happens as a byproduct, not as a consequence of needing to tell more of the story.
What's so interesting to me about that, though, is that they took so many weird risks with the narrative and story elements in Toy Story 4.
That's true, too.
Grappling with what it means to be a toy and what happens when toys are thrown away when you lose someone in your life. All the set piece of being in this weird kind of creepy antique shop. And then the carnival with there's just a lot going on.
Keanu Reeves.
Right. There's so much weird going on that feels like they're taking these weird risks to put in a kid's animated movie that is largely for kids. It's just strange.
I just feel like it just means nothing and it's shallow if they're still continuing to sell toys and have this capital. I really do though. I think the trilogy as it stands is great, but
but they did that with Toy Story 3 too. What's really the difference? It took them 10 years to make a Toy Story 3.
They sold a bunch of toys, made a great tie-in video game.
Toy Story was all about just selling toys, but I feel like they weren't self-referential, trying to be oh, whatever, and then sell toys. No, they just told a story. They didn't you know what I mean? It's fake, performative, whatever.
I think Toy Story 3 is kind of in the same boat as Toy Story 4, where they waited 15 years to make Toy Story 3, right? Toy Story 2 came out in 99. I don't remember when Toy Story 3 came out, but
2010.
Yes, 2010.
It's the same thing. They decided, hey, these were successful movies. Let's make another one and it'll be good. And
if anything, that's kind of, I actually didn't realize it was that big of a gap for the second movie. If anything, honestly, it's still for both of these, what the fuck sort of a deal. But then why did we double down with closure? You could frame the third one as we need a closure, much like Steve from Blue's Clues just recently gave us.
Which may be a timed out reference depending when this episode's released.
It's never a timed out reference. Steve from Blue's Clues said he was proud of me, and I will hold that dear forever.
That'll be on my grave. No. Steve is proud of me.
Steve is proud of me. Yeah, I don't know, to double down and do another kind of closure just for Woody. They also, I don't know, they ignore Buzz to me. That made me sad.
I don't know that I agree with that.
In Toy Story 4, I feel like they ignore Buzz.
I think Buzz has more of a plot in Toy Story 4 than he does in Toy Story 3, where half the movie he's brainwashed.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know, like he actually has a character arc in Toy Story 4. I don't really think he does in Toy Story 3. Now, that all of this being said, I kind of think Toy Story 3 is a better movie, and I like Toy Story 3 more. But I don't know. I just kind of don't agree with your arguments, Jake.
So I think we should vote.
Right.
I can go first.
Go for it.
I think there are for Toy Story 4 to have put its money where its mouth is, two things needed to happen. Forky needed to die.
Yeah. Yes,
and
they needed to free
Gabby
him.
Needed to self-actualize and realize she doesn't need a kid to be happy. And I think they undercut that by having her have to have a kid to be happy. So I'm going to vote for Toy Story 3.
I'm with you. I like what Toy Story 4 did, and I think it has its place in the series, and I think it's an important addition. But I just think Toy Story 3 is a better movie.
Toy Story 4 is an abomination. Toy Story 3 gets a clean sweep.
Jesus, Jake. You didn't have to kill it while it was down.
I needed to kill it for Forky. I can't kill Forky, so I have to kill the movie he stands in.
All right. So let's jump to the other side where, unsurprisingly, we have
Toy Story 2 versus the Toy Story Halloween special.
Yeah. We just decided
I was gonna make.
Yeah, we just decided the first one wasn't worth it.
No, Toy Story 2 versus 1. And maybe we'll address Forky asks a question at the end. That was an automatic finals pass.
Right.
It's that good.
Right.
I can start us off introducing Toy Story 2. Released in 1999, directed by John Lasseter. In this movie, Woody is stolen from his home by a toy collector, and they got to go get him. What I remember from this movie was the opening scene where they're playing the Buzz Lightyear video game, and it rocks. That was my favorite part of the whole movie, and that's why I wanted to introduce this one.
He's a sellout. Sellout.
There is a great tie-in video game, like unironically very, very good game for the third movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That includes an entire level that is the opening scene from the second movie, essentially.
We'll talk about it in the finale.
Rocks.
We'll talk about that one in the finale, because that adds a lot to the third movie. We'll talk about it in the finale.
It's a great game. There's a whole Again,
later in the episode.
So what you're saying
Toy
is
Story 1.
Disney got you to buy a video game off of the third movie.
Hey, again, This is not third movie content, fellas. All right? Okay? Let the past die.
Okay.
Kill it if you
We're
must.
excited. Toy Story 1, on the other hand, we're all gonna... I'll introduce it, I guess.
We can all jump in.
Toy Story was released in
1995. 1995.
Wow,
Director was John Lasseter. Guys, come on.
That's crazy.
Come on.
The
music was
you're doing this thing. Music.
Maybe we made some bad decisions.
Randy
sorry, I'm
Newman.
going to interrupt and say some things. Maybe we made some bad decisions in how we organized this bracket, because the movie where we're introduced to all of these characters is the last movie we're talking about.
That's what I said in the beginning, and no one gave a shit.
Recency bias. Okay.
Oh my God.
I do not think people are going to watch this episode and go, man, I can't believe they started with Toy Story 4. I don't even know what's happening.
I already got a DM because I have a press people who like watch our recordings just for like PR, like, you know, leaked news to get anticipation. They're mad at us. So
our live studio audience is pissed.
Oh, come on.
We have locked ourselves in our recording room, and they're banging on the door, banging on the glass.
No. Get that guy out. Okay. Anyway.
I'm just going to start over and just introduce Toy Story 1.
Go ahead.
I think we did a good job. I don't know, guys.
So it's understandable. Toy Story, released in 1995, directed by John Lasseter, composed by Randy Newman. Fantastic score. Led by Woody, Andy's toys live happily in his room with all the embroiled sentience that comes with being a toy in this universe, until Andy's birthday, when he gets a new toy, Buzz Lightyear. Andy's life was once all about cowboys and gunslinging, and now it's about space and space exploration. Afraid of losing that place in Andy's heart, Woody begins to plot against Buzz. But when circumstances drag both Woody and Buzz away from Andy, the duo have to put their differences aside to try and make it home.
Toys come to life and they talk.
That works too.
Toy Story. Toy Story.
So I googled Toy Story 2 so I could remember some things about the movie. And Google told me some things that people also ask. One of the things that Google told me was, what is Toy Story 2 without Buzz Lightyear?
What is Toy Story 2 without Buzz Lightyear?
And the strange answer that it gives me is it looks like a quote or like part of a script or something. But it says, Buzz replies, "Excuse me, pull string boy, what would Toy Story 2 be without Buzz Lightyear?" And then Woody counters, "A good movie." I don't know what this is from or
no,
why,
but we have to take that into account because it's coming straight from Woody.
There's clearly some still drama.
It was press interviews with Woody.
I thought
and Buzz.
Toy Story ended. Yeah, I thought Toy Story ended and they were like, "Oh, we're friends now." But apparently they're not. And that seems like a big fat lie, which is a huge mark for me against Toy Story.
Here's the thing. I just feel like Toy Story, they probably were friends, but then they didn't realize it was going to be a smash hit. Fame gets to people.
The fame broke
Fame
them
changes
apart.
people. I really think they did end up as friends. If anything, it's more tragic and it gives the first one more like validity as like a solid power of, you know, this friendship. And if anything, Toy Story 2 is a condemnation of the celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I really have to say, I kind of think that Toy Story 2 is my favorite Toy Story movie. Thinking back on it, I think it has more fun. Like Toy Story has that like iconic moment, Woody yelling at Buzz, "You are a toy." But I feel like it doesn't get into them being toys, really. Toy Story 2 has the whole like collector side of things, and it has like it questions things about being a toy in ways that Toy Story 1 does not. You know, I just think it's a much more interesting story. Toy Story is primarily just a movie about two characters, right? It's these people like figuring out how they fit together.
Fucking dare you forget about
it's
Sid,
basically
the
a
bully.
buddy cop movie, but it's toys.
You forget about Sid the kid.
I mean, yeah, but like
you forget about Will Poulter.
But I think Toy Story, I think Toy Story 2 is a much more unique story that can only be told in this world, where the story of the first movie, I think, is something that can be told in anything, you know? Two people, one comes in and replaces the other person, right? That can be anything. Toy is a person is taken and added to a collection is a very unique and weird story that only really works if the characters are toys.
Nah, the collector did it.
That's a deep
but that's
cut.
weird and creepy. And in Toy Story, it's not weird and creepy.
Thanks for hanging in there. I will say these two movies both have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. They're one of those.
That is true. I mean,
Wow,
Toy Story as a series
wild.
has like the second highest average Rotten Tomato score for any series of movies.
And guess what dropped it? Toy Story
That's
4.
crazy.
Hey,
Let the past die.
Let the past die.
Here's the thing. I really think it boils down to two things. It boils down to, do you like the cleaning scene in Toy Story 2? And do you like Sid the Kid looking like Will Poulter in Toy Story 1? That's what it boils down to for me.
I also think the animation took like not a super significant jump,
but dark
like
turn.
Significant enough where the people and some of the things in Toy Story 1 really freak me out. Like the stuff in Sid's house are scary, partially because of the uncanny valley of the way they're animated.
Alex has played his hand.
I get that it's from 95, but
Alex has played his hand.
I just think Toy Story 2 is better.
Alex, as we famously know, does not like horror movies.
Creeps me out.
And Toy Story's a horror movie through and
this
through.
is why Toy Story scared me.
Honestly, it's really capitalistic of you guys to say the first one's actually it's, I guess, horrors of capitalism sort of thing, because Sid is just poorer than Andy.
Yeah.
he has to make toys himself because he just doesn't have toys like Andy
Sid
does.
the Kid.
Also, what's up with Toy Story being like, hey, this is the wrong way to play with toys. Don't play with your toys like this because it's wrong and bad and you're torturing them.
Honestly, it's
Like,
putting a mirror up
toys.
to society saying, if you think this is wrong, there's a problem with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'll say.
Well, I'm ready to vote.
What I'll say is the Al, the collector gentleman in Toy Story 2,
Yes.
unsettled me as a child.
Yes. It's either you love this or you hate this. Yes.
It's weird.
So I remember the movie fondly, but it's just been so long since I've seen the second one. And that is so much of my recollection of it is Al and his strangeness. And something
his chicken barn.
Yeah, his toy barn. Something I think is really strange. Doesn't he like live next door to his toy barn?
No, he lives in like a high-rise apartment.
Yeah, but it's like next to it.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, man. He just made me
there
uncomfy
are plenty of
as a
people
kid.
in New York who
live next to their jobs.
Live in buildings that are next to their.
But he owns the toy barn.
Short commute.
It's crazy that like Toy Story 4 could have ended in like 2 seconds if this old man would have showed up and repaired the doll. You know what I mean? She just wanted to be repaired.
If Al had come by and been like, well, actually, I have tons of vintage voice boxes that I could use to repair.
Yeah, no, and it would have ended in 2 seconds. Here's the thing about Toy Story 2 that blows my mind. It's all the stories behind it. Do you guys know it was banned, right?
What? From where?
It was banned.
By who?
I saw that on Google, but I didn't know what it means.
So like they said that you could see the movie like Battle or the toy, whatever. It's like Battleship Potemkin or whatever. It's like the movie. It's like about communist revolution, all this stuff. They banned it in like Finland or something because they said it would incite a revolution, and so it led to Toy Story 2 being banned.
Oh,
honestly, I'm ready to vote
because
with that.
Battleship Potemkin is in Toy Story 2.
Also,
that's so
when they were
funny.
Making Toy Story 2, a computer got set on fire with most of their data. They lost 90% of their film and had to restart it. There were like,
honestly,
that's
more
insane.
disasters. Like there's a whole slew of shit. And if anything, going through all that adversity to make that film, that's pretty fucking impressive. Also, a film getting banned for a communist
the fact that it
revolution.
goes through all that and still comes out so good.
That changes my
barely
opinion.
happens.
I'm ready. I can vote. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready. I'll start. I'm voting for Toy Story 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get banned for a communist revolution in a movie about capitalism, Toy Story 2 has to take it.
For a movie that Disney originally wanted to make a direct-to-video sequel.
Yeah.
And to fucking roar out the box office, making hundreds of millions and have this cursed-ass production. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Toy Story 2.
Hell yeah. 2 unanimous votes into the finals. That's incredible.
And now for your guys' honorable mentions. So
Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers. We said we'd talk about it. I own the VHS of Small Soldiers.
So do I don't know if I still have it.
I probably don't.
But I loved that movie as a kid.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I don't know that I have any idea what you guys are talking about.
That's a big shame.
It's these tiny soldier guys. They also come to life. But then there is like an evil corporation and they are bringing toys to life and then they have to save the world.
So here's the thing. Where Small Soldiers is great and everyone should see it, and we're going to put it in our next bracket that makes sense for it. Honestly, for the next upcoming bracket, it might have, or I don't know what order this is going to fit. But anyway, this finale, so I hate to say it. I know we applauded Toy Story 2. Remember way back early in our episode, like way back, it feels like years since we recorded that.
Ages.
We applauded Toy Story 2 for, coming through with that adversity. That all has a price. Apparently there are a lot of claims on Toy Story 2 about overworking their workers and exhaustion, and one Pixar parent believed he had dropped off a child at daycare, only to discover he left his baby in the backseat of the car because he just come out of a 32-hour shift. So the child was fine.
Did that baby live? Oh,
yeah, child was fine. Good for all those out there. Child is fine. But this is a big problem in animation. It's especially infamous with video games. A lot of video game studios overwork their people and they don't get fairly compensated. But like animation gets all this flack and they overwork their workers who have to sit at a computer for like hours at a time because people are demanding stuff and it doesn't go as smoothly as, live action can go. It's more tedious. And Toy Story 2 did do that. Apparently they did better going forward, but still not the best. So we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that,
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that is a good point. Industry standards are important, and it's important to respect workers' rights.
Unionize. That's.
Oh no! This podcast, it's going to instill a communist revolution.
We're going to get banned in Finland. Shit.
Just received news. We've been banned in Finland already. Unrelated though.
No, that was
just
because
don't like us very much.
Yeah.
They just don't like me.
They don't like thirst tweets, and we're big proponents of that at the Tough Guy.
Just you.
So how do we compare these two? Oh no, that was ominous.
Wait, what did you say?
You'll have to listen to it back.
But what if he'll delete it? Oh well.
You'll never know.
I'll send it just to you.
Thank you. It's hard because Toy Story 2 is often called it went through a lot. It's a really great sequel, has 100% Rotten Tomatoes. And then Toy Story 3 came out 10 years later. So I think that's the conversation there of why didn't this happen right away as a trilogy, why they felt it wasn't necessary for how Toy Story 2 ended or whatever. And also, was Toy Story 3 kind of the conversation we had with 3 and 4, although it was a bit easier because of trilogy verse 4 is an easier pill to swallow. Was Toy Story 3 necessary?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was necessary in terms of the storytelling, because Toy Story 2 doesn't feel like an end, it ends, but it doesn't feel like an end to the series, to the world. And it was so successful and people loved it so much that, of course, it deserved something. So I'm surprised that it took them 10 years.
So something you have to think about with that, though, is the plan was not for it to be 10 years. They had scripts in production and had made attempts at making it much, much earlier. There was just a bit of development hell to get something off the ground with it initially wasn't going to be a Pixar production because Disney had gotten the rights and I believe didn't own Pixar for a period of time. Something happened. Yeah. So they created Circle 7 Animation who were going to make it. And then once they, I believe, finished the script, there's so much interesting history behind the Toy Story movies.
Is like a cursed series, honestly.
And then so Circle 7 finished their script and were getting ready to produce the film, and then Disney bought Pixar and they destroyed Circle 7, cannibalized the department and made a new script. And that was in 2006, I think, when they bought Pixar.
That's pretty wild because a similar thing happened to Leica Studios, another famous animation studios, when Phil Knight joined from Nike. He ostracized the original creator, Will Venton, and got rid of all the things, and they were in the middle of making Coraline. And so when you look at Coraline, the Knight family gets a lot of credit for it, but it was a lot of the original people. Sorry, that's just, we know odd information about animation studios, I guess. But
I looked it up, and according to Pixar, there is nothing from the Circle 7 script in the final version of Toy Story 3.
They were going to kill their toys. Circle 7, they had the balls to kill their toys.
What if Toy Story 4 was going to be Toy Story 3?
Yo.
The Circle 7 Toy Story 3 script is actually Toy Story 4.
Well, think about it. What if instead Andy was about to go to college and took the toys with him, but then something happened where the toys fell out of the road trip, and then they had to be
well, but I don't think it would have. I don't even think it would have been college because like
this was the early 2000s.
I think they chose to have Andy going to college because it took 10 years to make the movie, right?
Right.
Like they decided to do that because they knew it was taking so long. But I think it probably would have just been Andy's still a little kid. They're going on a trip, probably losing, because then it kind of mirrors what happened in the Toy Story 2 narrative with Jessie, where like she and Bullseye, Bullseye's the horse.
Yeah.
She and Bullseye are like left behind as toys. So then if that happens to Woody in the like ending and then ending, like I feel like it does an interesting tie-in if you skip Toy Story 3 and imagine Toy Story 4 as the third movie taking place with Andy as a little kid. It's a really interesting narrative.
I do think Toy Story 3 does serve like a very awesome purpose for what it did. Like, yeah.
I agree.
Lotso and the whole Lost Toy thing and just the incinerator scene, guys, makes me I really thought they were going to do it. I believe the Circle 7 like killed them and they incinerated end of movie. Blank crawl. It says Thanos will return at the end. It's insane.
Half the toys survive, half are destroyed.
Something I think is so funny about that incinerator scene is the clip that went really viral after the movie came out, where that guy cut down the movie to start the credit roll. There's like a fade to black and then credit roll.
Very good.
And he like watched it with like his parents and like family members. And they'd never seen the movie before, genuinely tricking them into believing that's where the film ended. There's like this heartfelt embrace of Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head and like all the toys pull together, like accepting their fate that they're gonna
gonna make you cry again.
And then credit roll. It's
I generally think
so funny.
That would have been a fucking awesome ending. That would have been, I mean, children would have been scarred, but fuck it. Fuck them kids, you know?
I mean, that would have ripped, but it also like totally undercuts all of the themes of the movie of like Andy choosing to say goodbye to his toys, you know?
Like, and it teaches you that life is futile.
Yes. If anything, it's anti-capitalist. Finally, burn your toys, burn your possessions. Everyone dies.
Guess what? Capitalism. Statistically, you'll buy new toys if you burn your toys.
Yeah, but if the credits roll,
don't destroy your belongings in a boycott. You statistically will buy a new one. Just don't buy any more.
I will buy a new boycott.
So, in terms of actually comparing these movies.
That's what we've been doing. I don't know where you've been at.
I don't know what conversation you've been listening to. I just think the character work in Toy Story 2 is better than in Toy Story 3. Like, if you look at Jessie and Bullseye's character, the Prospector character.
Is that like, Spanish?
I think.
Which one's Spanish Buzz? Is that 2 or 3?
Buzz. That's
Spanish Buzz is in Toy Story 3.
I fucking love Spanish Buzz.
And so like he doesn't really have I think it's a great character moment, but he's like that for half the movie and it doesn't like it totally, it's just like his arc is that he loses his memory and then gets it back, you know? Like there's no development there.
Right. He has that love thing.
First, I think character, I mean, but
you don't like love.
I hate love and I hate horror. I want bland action and only action. I don't know. I just like the character work in Toy Story 2 more.
I wish I just wish I remembered Toy Story 2 better. It's just been so long that like genuinely I joked recency bias, but I think recency bias is maybe convincing me I like the third movie more just because I remember it much better.
I'm also struggling with that just because I just remember Toy Story 3 making me cry and like the ending was so potent and like going to college and all that stuff.
But it made you cry
of the first movie
of the work that is put in by Toy Story 1 and 2.
Yeah. No.
Like
You're right.
The characters have this weight for you because of the nostalgia that the first 2 movies gave you.
Yeah, it's hard because like, do you like ending trilogy because like, do you give credit for the last movie for tying everything together in a really beautiful way, or do you give credit to the movies that came before it? It's hard. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's especially hard for middle movies. Mm-hmm. You know, middle movies are often seen as like just it's this transition into the conclusion of the trilogy. But I feel like Toy Story 2 really does its own thing. It expands the Toy Story world, I think, in an interesting way. I just think it's a good movie.
At the end of the day,
I believe you.
At the end of the day, here's the thing. Look at our roots, gentlemen. Look at how we start.
At the end of the day, there'll be nothing but trouble.
Anyway, look at our roots. How did we start this whole journey together? Sequels. What wasn't on it? Toy Story 2.
Toy Story anything.
Toy Story
Neither
3.
of them.
Nothing.
Neither of them were on it.
So guess what?
Small Soldiers,
The Godfather
baby.
Part 2,
no,
baby. Oh, Small Soldiers. Okay, I'll go for Small Soldiers. I'm cool with that.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Okay, Alex, fine. Toy Story, whatever. X, Y, and Z. Forky asks questions. My favorite Toy Story IP.
Are we voting now?
We can. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in my brain. I unfortunately got sucked into an article that talks about the Circle 7 script of Toy Story 3.
If anything,
and a rejected one that they wanted to make a fourth one. So the possible world where this was the third and fourth Toy Stories is so crazy.
If anything, like, recording this episode has just shined the light on so much of the Toy Story like mythos and lore that it's kind of wild. And honestly, they shouldn't make a fifth one because bad shit's gonna happen. This isn't open. Like,
these films are genuinely cursed. So I want to we can vote. I don't know if there's more to say. I just want to hit you with two tiny details from
Circle 7,
Toy Story 3, and what may have been Circle 7, Toy Story 4. It focuses on Andy's toys shipping a malfunctioning Buzz to the factory in Taiwan where he was built, called Waka Waka, with the other toys hoping he'll be fixed. Then, while searching the internet, they discovered there's been a mass recall of malfunctioning Buzz Lightyear toys, so they all ship themselves to the factory in Taiwan to rescue him. They meet a whole host of new characters, including Jade, a leggy doll wearing an evening dress because we need toy sexualization, apparently. And Buzz has to come to terms with the fact that they are issuing a new Star Command action figure to replace him named Dax Blaster.
Okay, that makes sense. It's basically just Dax Shepard in a hat.
That rocks.
Which is insane. That is an insane script.
Here's the thing. Isn't that just like Finding Dory?
Really
Didn't
wild.
Finding Dory do a ship? They shipped themselves and I barely remember Finding Dory, guys. To an aquarium, right?
They go to an aquarium, yeah. Or the octopus was going to ship himself out of the aquarium.
They're not trying to. They're chasing her. Yeah.
The rejected 3 script that they said, this could be a fourth. Their idea for the film involves Andy and his toys paying a visit to his grandmother's house for the night because his room is getting remodeled. So a set of Andy's toys and new characters, Hee Hee and Gladiolo, are trying to figure out who stole the toys one by one in a whodunit style murder mystery.
Oh, fuck.
That sounds awesome.
Rocks. I want to see a Toy Story whodunit. Okay, Toy Story 5. They got to make it now.
Circle 7. Can we get an alternate universe? I want to see what. So, okay. Emotionally, these would have been bad. They would have been bad building on what Toy Story 1 and 2 had created. It would have taken it in a lot of very different directions. But from a storytelling perspective of stories, I think would be fascinating to see. I think these would be so fun.
Can we find the members of Circle 7 and just make our own production company and
bring them together?
Assemble?
We start a project to pull together as much information as we can about these two movies?
No, we can't because we're gonna get a hit on us. No, we know this movie's cursed. I swear, if we start digging, we're gonna get fucked. They're gonna come for us.
Disney will come for us.
We cannot start digging. If anything, we can't release this episode, guys.
So if you're ever hearing this, Toy Story it means it's been released from our vault
and banned in
because
Finland.
We're pulling our Deadman switch. We fear for our lives if this episode's released.
Oh, shit.
This is the record. So that way people
my last will and testament.
We were taken out systematically.
Anyway,
Disney is coming for me.
Let's vote. Let's do it. Yeah, this is a toughie.
Sure. I think I'm probably the most gung-ho, so I'll vote for Toy Story 2.
And I'm going to shake things up, Toy Story 3, Spanish Buzz, incinerator scene, also for that secret edit of incinerator scene ending the movie. Shout out to that, whoever created that.
It's good. Seeing as I can't vote for Circle 7's Toy Story 4, even though I would have.
Yeah, that sounds like it would have rocked.
This is tough. And
no, this is the Tough Cut.
Yeah, we're the Tough Cut podcast. And I'm going to vote for Toy Story 3. I think emotionally for myself, it makes more sense for me. I would have to watch Toy Story 2. And maybe one day we'll revisit this after I've watched Toy Story 2 more recently.
Yeah. You tweet out an apology at 2 a.m.
I will tweet out an apology for voting with my heart rather than my head.
Well,
I apologize, Alex. I wish I remembered it better, but I don't.
It's okay. I voted with my dick.
Well, I hope that appeases you, Disney overlords. Hope it appeases you. And guys, that was our bonus episode. Hope you guys had some fun. Check us out on all the socials, at Tough Cut Pod. We love y'all, and we're glad we're all back in fruition, and we're just all glad to be together. So much love. Take care, and you got a friend in me.
And who knows what we'll be doing next week?
It'll
be a surprise to us.
Don't remember what your pal said, 'cause you
are Forky.
Yeah, for the whodunit. Guys, I'm pitching the whodunit. Okay, whatever. Bye, y'all.
Bye.